Farcaster. It is Friday, January 19th, and you are here with Adrienne and Nounish Prof, and it's Friday with Frens. So we are here with Jack, and that's J for CK, if you're looking for him on Farcaster or anywhere. We're so excited to have you here, Jack. So GM, how are you doing today on this lovely, happy Friday?
Yeah, enjoying the snow from home today. I decided to not brave the cold as I had been earlier this week. So I'd been outside and enough of that.
And Adrienne, I love your background. You're touching grass. That looks familiar. What
touching
is that
this
from?
grass. It is a gorgeous, unfortunately, it's static. It does not move. But if you don't recognize what this is artwork by Jack. This is Jack's artwork. Yeah. It's a video. It's for FarCon. You must check it out. It's gorgeous.
It's amazing. And we love it. We absolutely love it. And I am sporting today from Cyber Shakti a little Degen update to her profile pic, and Cyber Shakti and Lenspost are one of our sponsors for this week. So, but a little nod to the Degen, and actually I'm going to start there. I know that sounds weird, but let's just, because we now have a new reaction emoji because of the Degen channel. So wow, Degen, the gentleman's hat on Farcaster. Hats off to DWR and the entire Farcaster team for adding the little Degen. So if you use the little hat in your post, you will now have a little Degen emoji there, just like the wow wow and the noggles. So the noggles. It's crazy.
Yeah, by the way, I haven't figured out exactly how to get it, because you said, I don't know if it's the hat. I did $Degen, that made the hat.
Oh, sorry, it's $Degen. You're right.
Okay, so I actually don't know if it's dollar. I saw something without it. If it's Degen, Degens, but play around. I was doing the other thing earlier too, where when other reaction types were dropped, like wow wow, we learned wow wow is case sensitive. So if you do a capital W, you don't get it. So feel free to play around, figure out all the different ways you can get a
Great point. Great point. Yep. So you can get that little hat though, and that's very exciting for the Degen channel. And I think that just says a lot to, they've really contributed to the QDAO. Right? To the, I think there was, and you and I speculated on this, like, we're like, okay, the Degen channel's definitely picking up with the DAO, the DAU, the daily active users, but is it the Q there? Is the quality there? And I think the argument is kind of, yeah. So I think it's been a little bit of a surprise. I did not anticipate this particular trajectory. It wasn't on my bingo card. Nope, not at all. So what do you think? What do you think? And Jack, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this little new development that we have here?
I mean, I love the reactions. The top hat, I was like, oh, okay, wow, all right. So that to me is always such an interesting signal. I'm like, what things catches the team's attention enough that they'll like implement a product change? And so I was like, oh, wow, okay, top hat's in. So I've been basically ignoring Degen channel. And then I saw that I was... I literally claimed my airdrop this morning, today, because I was like, oh yeah, I think I forgot to do that the other day. I should go do that, and like just claimed it and posted about it, and it's got like a bunch of likes, like I think 50 likes on it, just that I claim my token.
Wow.
So there's like, I mean, I always counter trade the meme and I always lose. So maybe I should lean in this time.
I think it's hard, if you counter trade the meme, that's hard. Like, that's hard to do.
It's so,
you're shorting the meme, it's hard, it's hard to do.
I always lose. And I haven't learned my lesson.
I think that's, to your point, like, we talk about meme coins and you can call them shit coins or whatever you want, but the meme is the key, and hitting it just right is the key. So it's been really interesting. I've said this before, and this is definitely not Adrienne's thing, but watching sort of the development in the Degen channel of these different meme coins has been fascinating, and I really have enjoyed it. So Adrienne, where are you at now? Have you claimed your Degen yet?
I've not claimed my Degen. I'm open to be convinced. So if either of you or anyone in the chat or anywhere else, give me a real reason why I should do it besides FOMO. And doing it for the...
It's actually worth money
meme.
Now. That's one
reason.
It is
worth money. It was like, now the amount I got was like $2,000.
But I have money. So it can't. I mean,
that's
it could go
it's
into
really funny about us.
NFT fund,
This is the funniest thing
yeah,
growing a business with us too, is like money is a very little incentive for us. Like we need enough to do the things we want to do,
like,
but you
but
really
the
can't buy
culture.
us.
Yeah.
Like we can't be bought. We need a bigger reason. And it's really interesting to see Adrienne with the meme coins. Like, if I want to claim it, where there's other people be like, "Are you? It's money."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. Okay, so moving on to other things in the ecosystem, we have top caster channel badges now. Introducing the top caster in channel badge, identifying users who get the most engagement in a channel. It will display in place of the active badge for that channel. And it's a
Nice.
higher bar than active badge. So we're going to be iterating here, looking for feedback. They did tweak the algorithm already. They already made 2 changes. Well, now it's sort of the active badge changed as well. So minimum followers 100 to 200, and increasing the minimum activity score from 1 to 2. And then they also did an adjustment on the top channel badge already to make sure that it was a little bit more fair in terms of what it was reflecting. So Adrienne already changed her background to the top channel badge background, little emoji. So what do you think about this sort of signaling of who is your sort of top active users in that channel? Good, bad, anything surprising? I was a little surprised that I was not the top one in Farcaster. It was you. I wasn't surprised by it was you, but it's like been kind of funny. I'm also not the top one in Builder DAOs, which is I'm the lead in there. So that's kind of funny as well.
Well, I like I tend not to like anything where there's one, like I don't know. I just like the one top caster. I don't know what that means, but I loved the way this idea of little signals, right? You want information as fast as possible about people and about counts. So what sort of cues can we give to say, yes, this is someone worth following? How do you make that easy to get? So I love all the memes that came up after Dan announced it, of the like the Boy Scouts and the generals with their badges covered in badges.
Covered in badges. Yeah.
It was really funny.
Well, and to that point, there was a request from Dan around that about what are some other Wobcast badge suggestions. What badges should we add? A useful badge conveys information at a glance, to your point, not easy to get, some proof of work component. And bonus, only a Farcaster uniquely enabled by crypto or on-chain information would be the ideal one. So on that note, like Jack, what other, are there any other badges that you'd like to see? And what do you think about sort of this active signaling kind of thing?
I mean, this is definitely like, I've been thinking about military lapels as they relate to badges a lot with Icebreaker and attestations and credentials. So when he saw that, I was like, yeah, duh. I totally agree. And I commented on that and I said, same, I hope they're composable, because I hope that they like that. I don't know if they'll be a protocol level, but I mean, really, I'm grinding right now on like, how do we prove basically on any given web page or from anywhere, any data source that, that is like, you can pull that out and put it in your Icebreaker profile, and then that is composable to be accessed at your, like with your permissions, however you'd like. So that makes a lot of sense.
This whole area is really an interesting area for me, and it's been a problem that I know Nouns has been looking at. There was a group that's doing Nouns Karma, right? So trying to figure out how do you take information from that particular ecosystem to sort of build a reputation management profile, so to speak.
Right.
So to be like, yes, we can trust giving funds to this person, they follow through, or they understand the ecosystem, or whatever it is we're trying to signal and understand. But it's hard. It's really hard because a lot of that still is off chain. So how do you capture like that social graph? Then I know that's what you're trying to figure out as well. So that's really, well, that worked out well, didn't it?
Great.
Well, that was an unintentional segue.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like Farcaster stuff, there's like, I mean, follower count. Adrienne is quick to remind me that follower count is not your value when I was raging about the Coinbase wallet retail deluge that I missed. Not bitter at all.
Jack, how many followers? Jack, how many followers do you have?
11.3 right now. I just looked. I just saw it actually because I was looking at the channel because of the badge thing. I thought that my comment on the badge was like, okay, can I go to a channel and just like see the top people? And I guess you can see that in the analytics page, but I didn't see like I expected there to be kind of like a little like leaderboard thing per channel or something.
There is a little bit in the channel. You can see on the side, and let me see if I can grab one. I'll grab one in the Degen channel. You'll see some of the top posters that are in that channel, the top casters.
Oh, top casters. I didn't even see that module. I have module blindness.
So you can see it on the
Jack, it's all new.
On the right.
It's not blindness. Everything's new. It's just,
and it also gives you, and so if you click on it, it'll show you more. So it'll show you the top casters. It'll show you followers, and then other followers, and then it'll also show similar channels, which I think is interesting as well. So it's giving you channel suggestions as well. On web, it's not the same, obviously, on mobile, but on web, we're getting there. So, so that was, from a channel host perspective, really helpful, because there were people I wasn't following who were in that top list, and I'm like, why am I not following this news? So that's important. That's helpful. Other than that, I'm not sure I think it's going to be more helpful as we grow. Seems like it, but it's interesting to hear like how, I hadn't thought about the composability aspects and how that might be useful for Icebreaker and similar apps and things like that. And, let's slide on over, Adrienne. Go ahead. I'm going to hand it over to you since this is a nice little segue.
Well, I'll just double down because you can't say composable without me just piling on about the composable feature and how great it is. And Dan talks a lot about kind of the need to put things in the protocol for developers, but using Warpcast as a way to incubate, because you can go a lot faster when it's just in the app. So to start these on Warpcast, I think makes sense, but I love the idea. I mean, this information has to eventually make it to the protocol, so it's composable. So other apps, I'm thinking about integrations with Bountycaster, Reputation, the future feels still a little vague, but it's like you're starting to be able to almost imagine the kind of the promise of all the
definitely
composable credentials. And so love that. Jack,
shift to our little mini interview. Shift to you, Adrienne.
So Friday and Friends, we love inviting friends and learning more about you. You are building Icebreaker, and we have a lot of new people to Farcaster, a lot of new listeners to GM Farcaster. So, what's, for someone who doesn't know you yet, what is Icebreaker?
Yeah, so our mission is to connect brands and people directly and fairly. That's our core mission. And that is a big, broad thing that really came out of my co-founder, Dan, Web3PM's experience at Google building the core, the core signal ad system. It's called Google Signals. And that basically, if you've used the internet today, you've interacted with it probably in the background. And that is what drives ad dollars on the internet. So that is a pretty raw deal for consumers on the internet, right? Like we've never had the ability to say, hey, please, don't take my data, because it's just it's been tracked, and then the regulation keeps up. And now we have all those little cookie bars everywhere that you just don't even look at and click allow, right? And there's a whole host of things happening when you do that. And in that arrangement, Google and Meta get roughly 66 cents on every ad dollar, right? And the rest of that, some of that goes to a publisher. But the last time you got paid for an ad was probably never. Even though I have this little vision in my brain of us running around just emitting oil, basically, as data, right? Data is this oil that we're emitting as we use internet and products. We don't ever get paid for that. So we think that is wrong. And there's also, of course, all the privacy implications and the data breaches that are hard for companies that have really no business being in data security, doing data security when they shouldn't and they don't need to. So that was kind of our core premise. And then we decided that we were going to start kind of with an Uber Tesla model on the high end of the market and try to go down as far as like targeting consumers, because we realized the hard part of the network are consumers. Like it's actually very easy. Brands are not hard to get. Advertising dollars are not hard to get. They will go wherever their customers are. So you have to find good customers, and who are like good customers, where are they? So we started with we're like, okay, basically Web3 builders are going to be our starting market, and that's great because that's a lot of Farcasters, right? Like that's very easy. We're already hanging out there. So it was kind of like, okay, what is something that we want and we need? And that started out actually, Nanish, you were there at the first FarCon, and we made 50 cards, NFC cards. There you go. Amazing.
I went and found this morning. I'm like, I got to find that card. I knew exactly where it was. I'm like, yes, I know exactly where it is.
Right. So that was like our first, that had been after 6 months, and because we thought, we're like, okay, great. We'll just pay people to see good ads. Like that'll be easy. And we'll put a ZK in the middle, so there's no data exchange. Great. And that was like, it's actually hard because you have to get the people that are valuable to the advertiser. But the zero knowledge share in the middle was good, and that was a very early insight. And so we ran all these prototypes and ended up like, okay, we actually have to build a tool that's very valuable. We're struggling at conferences to keep track of our Telegram with context, identity, access, and trust. And that's like the core atom of a connection. So that's how we started building that tool with the like NFT business cards and the NFC tap. Because like when you do a tap and you get it right, it is like faster. It's not, you don't have to take out your phone or anything. It's just like, bop, here you go, done. And that's why we started building the tool the way we did. And anyway, this is a very long answer to your question. This is a very long answer to your question. Sorry, I just.
So where are you now with this? Like, so where are you at now, and like where do you see it going? Because I'm curious.
Yeah,
I've been very curious about, we're thinking about ad revenue and sponsorships and how do we make this, project sustainable and things like that. So this is, really interesting to what I've been thinking about a lot recently. So it's along the same lines.
Yeah, so we're like, we're still focused on getting that hard part of the network, which is building the valuable tool for like valuable consumers who want to basically now. We are letting people get attestations and get credentials and pull that data out of Web 2 silos. Like receipts is a great example of this, where you're pulling data out of Strava, but extrapolate that to the rest of the internet and whatever thing that you're into and whatever niche. Like gaming is a huge one, right? Like I have done a bunch of like PlayStation achievements. I have old RuneScape achievements that are like valuable, especially in crypto, as like this nostalgic thing. And then as all the way into like real world stuff where it's like, I don't know if you ever applied for an apartment in New York, but it's like you are basically cavity searched. Like it's a little invasive. So you could imagine having a zero knowledge proof about I meet over this income threshold without exposing the exact amount.
That'd be great. Yep. All of that. And also other trustworthy ways that you might be a great credit risk that doesn't apply to your credit. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily apply in the same way. I've seen things with like people talking about using battery power on their phone as like a way to like signal trustworthy, which I think is interesting. But things like that of how are these different things we're doing on chain, especially, that can contribute to reputation management.
Right.
So for sure.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And I think receipts is a great example of some stuff of early like playing around with that. I think that's very, very cool approach too.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack, what's something that people in Farcaster should be doing for Icebreaker to help you out?
I would love if everybody would just go. It's not particularly straightforward right now, but it will be better soon.
That's okay. We're in crypto, so we're used to bad UX.
Yeah, there's this was so actually, here, I can maybe just, let's see, what browser am I on? Let me switch. Hold on. Go over here. I will present real quick and just show you what would be valuable.
Make sure we get it.
Yeah, okay, so this is my Icebreaker account. So I have multiple cards in here, and these are like different identity slices or different events, right? So like in Art Basel, I was connecting with people, and I had a specific, like, we basically allow you to equip an avatar, a name, a different bio, all these different credentials, different channels, and optionally an NFT, which you have to talk to me to do right now, but you can do it. And this is so that, like, if you met me, you could get this thing. And it was like on a tap, you get all of this information and understand a bit more about me. And I was also channel swapping because I was going between like crypto events and regular people events. So I would basically like change my primary button here in edit card from Telegram to Instagram. So I'd just like flip this to Instagram and be like, okay, I'm at like a normie party now. Instagram is the thing, or you can even do a different card to do that, right? And whichever one is in your main slot maps to your actual NFC card. But the question you asked was, what do I want people to do? I want them to come in here and go to proofs and get their crypto class of credential. And this is actually a zero knowledge proof. So you don't actually have to tell us, right? Like this came out of, we use a provider called Jomo that we're working really closely with to like run these zero knowledge proofs. And basically you could come in here and put in a wallet that you've owned from 2013 that has 10,000 Bitcoin that you don't want to share with anybody, and run the zero knowledge proof back to us. And we would say, all we would see is, okay, this wallet's from 2013. And now that's going to give you a credential when you're in your cards, when you're editing. And again, we're going to clean this up a bit more, but in here, this will populate in your credential, and you can toggle that on and off on a given card. Like if you want to flex your very OG crypto status. And then also on those cards now, like if I click this, it actually goes out to the proof. So you can actually, and I've given them feedback about what is this, because I am a regular person. I mean, like I can read a block explorer, but this is still quite technical. But yeah, really the one request, I guess, maybe proofs is even advanced. I would love people to just sign in and make one card and add a single channel. That would be a win.
Cool.
All right. We got our homework.
All right. We got homework to do. Here we go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and then we just added this too. Like the last thing you do, you can copy this card, and then you can send it anywhere. So we haven't really had remote connect. Like people are confused if it's IRL or online. But they're like, that is a link that's an authenticated link. You have to use this button. If you copy the URL, like this URL will be blank if I just go to it, or actually while I'm logged in. But if you go to the link without the key, you're locked and you don't get channel access. So you have to have that key, which is only available if you actually copy out of the UI and send to somebody. So
that is really cool.
a lot of like privacy elements and anonymity elements. Like you could extrapolate this out into connecting to a website and sharing whichever data that you actually care about or is relevant to them.
When I think about this, I think about the use cases around health insurance and health data and things like that I feel like is so ripe for disruption. But it's about how do you also then protect that data and share only what you need to, when you need to, and things like that. And I think that you're onto some much bigger applications there. Like I could see multiple different ways that this could be applied. So very cool. So definitely go take a look. So Icebreaker, is it .xyz?
app.icebreaker.xyz. Yep.
Perfect. So definitely, go take a look and check that out.
Do we have time for a few more questions?
Absolutely. We have to do a lightning round. We have to do a lightning round with you, Jack, really quick.
And there's a few important ones we didn't get to.
Go ahead. So we requested, we reached out to the Farcaster universe And they
Yeah.
have
And
the people want to know. So
people
go
need
for
to
it,
know, and I know we're over time, so we'll do a lightning round. But what are your favorite channels on Farcaster?
Design, memes, DJs, icebreaker channel. Obviously, have to shill.
Have to.
Yeah. Oh, and July, of course.
In July, of
Right.
course.
Oh, and Lord of the Rings. I started the Lord of the Rings channel. I do
Ooh.
really enjoy that channel. That's
Channel
fun.
lead for Lord of the Rings won't even bring it up. What's a country you'd like to visit?
Japan.
Mm.
Are you going to FarCon?
Hell yeah. I'm talking to Ted and Graham after this later today. So
Nice.
hopefully we'll have a special edition
Icebreaker.
card for everybody. Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
When you take a shower, which way do you face? Are you
Away.
facing
Away.
forward?
I'm away. Or actually, well, I'm actually sideways because our shower's like kind of small and I'm kind of big. So I kind of go sideways.
And thank you, Wake, for asking the important questions. But
Yeah.
Dawufi asked an even more important one. How tall are you?
I am 6'6".
That would have been my guess. I wasn't positive, but that was my guess.
Yes.
Based on having met you in person.
Yeah.
That's great.
What is your favorite icebreaker? And this is from Jacob, aka JRF. And I assume he's actually asking about the IRL team building icebreakers.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, my favorite one is like, what is the meaning behind your name, or how did you get your name? Because there's always an interesting story about like why your parents picked it or whatever. So that's always.
I think that's an even more interesting story, more interesting question in the Web3 space. How did you have your profile name? Because usually it has nothing to do with your real name.
Yeah.
Like most people have
That's
no
good.
idea what my real name is, and which was really funny when Dawufi just shared a GIF related to The Office and had no idea my name was Kelly. So that was funny. Because the whole thing was like, it starts with, yes, Kelly, and it all goes, and I'm like, you don't even know my real name, do you? It was pretty funny. Anything else, Adrienne? Any other last lightning round questions? What was your favorite? I have a question. What was your favorite part of FarCon last year? And why should people go? Who are thinking about it, might be on the fence.
Yeah, great question. I mean, it was just the people. It was great it was the internet friends IRL. Like that's one of my favorite things. That was great. And also just such a like amazing group of people. I thought also really smart that they limited sponsors, like Grin's whole take about sponsors and that it's for us by us. Gave it a really authentic vibe. So I think that was like quite a special year. I don't know if it'll ever be like that again. I'm very curious to see how this year is.
It's gonna be
I'm excited to go to LA. LA is fun.
Yeah. I think it's great to compare and like see, how things evolve. But still see if we can keep the core culture.
Keep the cozy. Yeah.
Keep the cozy feel. You did forget one question, Adrienne. You got to ask.
Oh, no.
I know we're a little over time, but you didn't ask about his internet friend.
Yes,
internet friend.
Jack.
You got to ask.
We all know each other because we hang out on a decentralized social network, and we're internet friends. When did you make your first internet friend?
Definitely 7th grade playing RuneScape, for sure. Ooh. I had Malchior was his name. I remember this. He was he was my homie. We'd quest every day for hours in RuneScape. I don't even know where he lived, and I need to stop playing one day. I hope he's well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is amazing.
That's great.
We are at the end of our time. I do want to give a quick shout out to all our sponsors, especially Lenspost this week. Been amazing. Thank you guys for supporting us. This is our little experiment with sponsors and supporters, so appreciate you. And Fridays with Friends, and this has been a blast. I've enjoyed this today, but this is becoming my favorite episodes of the week. Is when we get to meet with all these amazing Farcasters. And next week we have Nonlinear coming by to talk about Fabric. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Jack, anything else you want to share before we wrap today? I know we missed a bunch of stuff that's happened on Farcaster the past couple of days. It'll be in our show notes. So the links that we didn't get to today are always in the show notes. And shout out Zora, who finally added line breaks into the show notes, and I'm so happy. That sounds so stupid right now if you don't understand, but if you look at our old show notes, it was all one big group of mess. So now it looks pretty. So I'm very excited. But anything we didn't cover that you want to shout out, or Adrienne, anything I missed for this Happy Friday before we wrap?
I mean, obviously a lot going on Farcaster, webcast that we didn't talk about. We'll either kick it to next week, but I'll just end. Jack, you deserve at least 70,000 followers. I think. How many users?
Oh, wow.
Like all of the people on Webcast.
I think there's only 50,000, but you should have 70,000.
50,000. You should have 50,000.
50,000 at least. I agree. So go follow Jack. If you're not following him, J4CK on .eth on Farcaster. So make sure you give him a follow. And we'll be back Monday for another GM Farcaster. And they usually ship a lot of stuff on Fridays, and I can see stuff happening that we didn't even talk about. So get ready for that. And we will see you then. Thanks so much, Jack. And stop by another time. And we can't wait to see you at FarCon.
Yes, I'll see you there. Thank you two so much. It's just so fun.
Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Happy
Friday.
Bye.
Happy Friday.